We'll begin with you, Usman Chohan. Pakistan's prominent engagement at Davos, what does it signal? Does it signal a growing international confidence in its economic stabilization or its reform trajectory, or is there more to it?
I believe that Pakistan is uniquely positioned in the World Economic Forum and the Davos context, broadly speaking. And the reason is that this is going to be the most important Davos engagement ever, because they're going to be talking about sovereignty like they've never have before. They're going to be talking about the international order that you mentioned. They're going to have real big picture conversations, not just the typical neoliberal platitudes we hear. That is unique. And why I think Pakistan is well positioned is that Pakistan enjoys good relations with China and the United States. Pakistan has shown that it is ready for the nice guy world and the tough guy world. We prefer the nice guy world with geoeconomics, connectivity, and that's what we're working towards. But the tough guy world, we showed in 2025 that we can defend ourselves.
True.
So if that Trump world of being a tough guy and bullying others, he is actually very impressed with Pakistan and sees it as a tough guy country. But Pakistan believes that it should be a nice guy world. So this hedging is so perfect that we could play a positive and meaningful role in the conversations of this unique get-together in Davos.
All right, I think that's very important to continue to have this conversation and involve themselves in a manner in which you are respected as well by the other global partner, repositioning itself in your point of view as a regional hub for creativity and emerging market engagements.
It's been a priority for our leadership over the years that we have to reorient this region from one that has had a security paradigm exclusively to one that has a geoeconomic paradigm. That means that we need to push for connectivity and reconciliation, and Pakistan, for example, has sought time and time again with Afghanistan. Let's settle this, let's get along, and let's move trade across Central Asia down to the ocean. Similar with India, we actually have been saying that let's work together. There are things that are on the table, from TAPI to all this stuff. But they have a fascist government there. It's very hard to discuss logic with fascists. And so these things hold us back. The region is not in our control. The region is anarchic, as all states are in an anarchic system. They all are pushing different logics and different rationalities or irrationalities. But Pakistan is certainly in the team that says this world needs to calm down a little bit. Let's prioritize
All right, let's prioritize peace and let's see how this goes on. Pakistan's value purpose for multinational investors today, now that we are at Davos and speaking to all of those heads and all of those heads of companies.
To be honest, the best thing that differentiates us from other countries and other markets is that it is a truly untapped big market. If you look at all the other major countries, they already have quite a dense presence of multinationals. In Pakistan, we don't have that big and we also have to develop local champions. That's the second thing, so partnerships of that. So you will be hard-pressed to find a country that offers this much that is yet to be untapped. And investors are always looking for the percentage gain. It's not that you go into a saturated market and then just gain what is already done. In fact, you want to get the maximum curve of the value chain and value gains. The way to do that is to tap into something that has so much to offer that is untapped. Pakistan is that country, and that's how I would pitch Pakistan to any place, that there's so much here that yet has to be explored.
All right. To you, Usman, concerns this increasingly multipolar and fragmented world that we continue to live in and see the changes every day. Can international institutions, like for example at Davos or at other fora, still effectively prevent conflict and instability?
It's very hard for them to do that. The reason is that you need stakeholder buy-in. But if we take this minilateralism or microlateralism angle, you'll see how contradictory it is and how terrible it is. Because take the example of Europe. When Venezuela's president gets kidnapped, Europe says, well, that's fine. When there's a genocide in Gaza, they mishmash depending on the country. Germany is not saying anything. But then when Greenland comes, they expect the world to be on their side. It is so contradictory because it's better to be guided in international relations by principles. The principle of sovereignty, of self-determination, of individual freedom, etc. There's so many principles that have formed the UN Charter. That's why I mentioned to you at the beginning that Pakistan is well hedged for both worlds, the tough guy and the nice guy world. For example, our dispute on Kashmir with India is based on self-determination. We want a plebiscite. This is very nice. But at the same time, there's that tough guy approach. They have nuclear weapons, we have nuclear weapons, we have an excellent air force, etc. The point is that it's better to have a nice guy, but then the whole world needs to accede to the charter and proceed accordingly, and then we can actually avoid the fate that our great-grandparents went through.
Well, let's hope that happens. Let's hope Davos proves to be that catalyst as far as this current situation is concerned. Thank you very much, Usman Chohan, to have joined us as well. Let's come